I don't know about you, but since the pandemic started in early 2020, I found that my stress level has increased, like a lot. I'll give you my number one tip for overcoming work-related stress today on Quick Hits. What's up, hitters? This is Brandon Grieve with High Impact Technical Sales, enabling and inspiring you to crush it in technical sales. While virtually every area of our life has been affected by the pandemic, I found that just doing my job, which I've been doing for years, has been particularly stressful. But is it just me? I was curious if I was the anomaly or if others felt the same way. So I decided to conduct a poll on LinkedIn to gauge other people's stress levels. Here's a screenshot of the actual results. As you can see, roughly 2/3 of respondents expressed that their stress levels have been way more since the pandemic. That's significant, and it's a real problem. To that end, I'd like to share my number one tip for reducing work-related stress. But first, do me a solid and smash that like button below and leave a comment. Without further ado, here it is. Ready? Own your time. Yep, it all comes down to owning your time. So what do I mean by that? Look at your calendar and compare it to pre-COVID. If you're like me, there are way more meetings on the calendar now than ever before. More internal meetings, more customer meetings, if you're lucky, more mandatory training, more management inspection, meetings to talk about meetings, on and on. It's overwhelming, and the worst part is these meetings are being scheduled back to back with virtually no time to breathe, let alone use the toilet. But is this all just whining and complaining? Absolutely not. It's a real struggle with real mental and physical consequences. So let's talk about a few things that you can do to help take control of your time and reduce stress. Number one, plan your schedule in advance. I've talked about this in the past, but it warrants repeating. The best way to ensure that everything important gets done is to schedule it on your calendar. If you budget the time for it in advance and block it out on your calendar, it's way more likely to get done. I time block my entire calendar, making sure that the most important tasks and meetings are scheduled first, then filling in the gaps with other items on the to-do list. Just knowing in advance that I have enough time for the important things relieves so much stress. And here's an action tip. Schedule 30 minutes on your calendar each week to plan for the following week or two. I generally do this on Friday afternoons, but if you can do it sooner, that's even better. Number two, take mental health breaks. When creating your schedule, do not, and I mean do not, forget to include breaks. It's become normal for our calendars to become filled with back-to-back meetings all day long. It's ridiculous and largely unnecessary. Your mind needs time to decompress and process the information and activities of the day. Your body also needs to move around and get your blood pumping. Sitting in front of the computer too long gives me a headache, not to mention pain in my neck and back. It's not healthy. As an old friend of mine used to say, the mind can only take in what the butt can endure. Funny, but so true. And here's another action tip. At the very least, I suggest a 15-minute mid-morning break, 1 hour for lunch, and another 15 minutes in the afternoon. This sounds trivial, but your mind and your body will thank you. Number three, say no. If you're not living by your own plan, you're living by someone else's. Everybody believes their stuff is the most important thing in the world. If you're not careful, you'll heap their junk on you. Weigh every request against your most critical priorities. If those things don't align, say no. For those of us in sales, if an activity doesn't contribute to revenue production, there's a good chance that it can be delayed or declined altogether. If someone sends you a calendar invite that conflicts with your most important activities, decline it. Yet another action tip, for high priority calendar entries, add the words "do not schedule over" to the title. Yes, in all caps, to make sure that everyone knows that this time is off limits. Well, these are just a few things that you can do to help take back control of your time. Time is our most precious resource, and when we own it, the result is a massive reduction in stress. But what do you think? I'd love to hear your tips for reducing work-related stress. Leave a comment and let's talk about it. Until next time, be enabled, be inspired, and go crush it in technical sales.